Jennifer Lopez's biggest secrets and scandals have been revealed to everyone. Today we discuss box office flops, public feuds, and high-profile breakups that JLo may never be able to recover from. Jennifer Lopez's name has surfaced in a $400 million essay lawsuit against her ex-boyfriend Sean Diddy Combs. And let's be honest, it's hard to keep track of every Diddy accuser, but it's going to be difficult to not remember this one. The case, filed by Michigan inmate Derek Lee Cardello Smith, who, by the way, is serving his own decades-long sentence for an essay case of his own, alleges that Diddy spiked his drink and essayed him during a 1997 after-party. Court documents reveal plans to call Jennifer Lopez as a witness, citing her past relationship with the rapper from 1999 to 2001 as potentially helpful for providing relevant insights. Cardello Smith alleges he first met Diddy while working as a bartender. Now, he claims Diddy invited him to a private after party at a Detroit hotel where the rapper offered him a drink laced with an unknown substance. According to the lawsuit, Cardello Smith lost consciousness and later woke up to Diddy engaging in intimate acts with a woman. He alleges Diddy remarked, "I did this to you too," upon noticing he had regained consciousness. While Lopez has not publicly commented on the allegations, her potential involvement has captured widespread attention. Speculation suggests her testimony could provide crucial insights into Diddy's character during the time of their relationship. Now, the mention of Jennifer Lopez has added a new dimension to the case, fueling public interest and speculation, and while it remains unclear whether Lopez will testify or not, her involvement could influence the trajectory of the lawsuit and bring additional attention to the allegations against Diddy. Now, Diddy's legal team has labeled it as baseless, and that Cardello Smith mentioned two different locations for this alleged incident. They are also arguing that the claims were filed past the statute of limitations. So time will tell if JLo comments or gets involved in this or not. So keep your eyes and ears out for updates on this very bizarre case. Jennifer Lopez once got hotel staff fired for autograph requests, and this is one of just all kinds of ironic. Like, JLo has had a fair few movie roles under her belt. One of my personal guilty pleasures is Made in Manhattan, which came out in 2002. Now, in this movie, and much like Jennifer's own Hispanic roots, the character plays a Puerto Rican hotel maid trying to make ends meet while she cares for her young son as a single mom. Now, in 2012, in her real life, Jennifer's trip to Germany made major headlines because a hotel worker, who was also a maid, who's named Prey Dodage, was reportedly fired on the spot for requesting an autograph. According to sources, Prey asked her assistant for an autograph and was fired literally the next day for no reason. Prey would go on in a statement to say, "A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said Miss Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone." Prey had said she asked as politely as possible and didn't think it would cause such a frenzy and definitely not get her fired, but unfortunately it did. The hotel denied the rumors, as did JLo, who called the story hurtful. Of course, when Jennifer was being interviewed on playing a hotel worker in Made in Manhattan, she only had wholesome things to say, with her stating, "My character is just trying to make ends meet. I really relate to her. You shouldn't judge or discard people." Now, talk about putting your money where your mouth is, right? This secret is one she's been trying to keep under wraps ever since it happened, because not her playing a struggling maid and claiming she cares, but then gets a struggling maid fired for simply wanting an autograph. So to be so fair, I see how the maid would assume JLo would relate to her since, you know, she played this role like 10 years prior. Anyway, Jennifer Lopez has made it very clear that she is Jenny from the block. She has talked about growing up in the Bronx so many times, and honestly, I don't think there's a single person that doesn't know that. Now, Jennifer won't actually go to the Bronx, like she refuses to visit. Now, pulling yourself out of poverty is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it can be something to be proud of. A homeless Chris Pratt was once serving up shrimp and living out of an RV before he got famous, and Mila Kunis's family moved to the US with just $250 to their name. So while some celebs, put their humble roots behind them and never look back, like I mentioned, a huge chunk of JLo's fame comes from repeating over and over that she's still Jenny from the block. She grew up in the Bronx and her family wasn't rich. J-Lo has even gone on the record and said, "I shared a bed with my 2 sisters." And yet she won't actually go back there. And despite growing up in poverty in the Bronx and writing a song about it, J-Lo only agreed to be in a vehicle commercial if she didn't actually have to go and film it in the Bronx. Now, this report centered around J-Lo's 2011 Fiat commercial, where the company figured it would be neat to film the star in her home territory. Fair. And while the ad appears to be in the Bronx, it was actually filmed in Los Angeles. Now, it was reported that J-Lo used a body double for the Bronx, which is insane. I literally have no words, but also I have so many questions. Like, why not just film in the Bronx? Was she scared? Does she feel too good to go there now? Is there someone she didn't want to run into? These answers we might never know, but what do you guys think the reason was? Now, Jennifer Lopez has been known to give very questionable interviews and has been accused many times of being rude to not only the person interviewing her, but to everyone else on the set as well. Now, one interview in particular that was very alarming was one she did when her song Waiting for Tonight came out. She was being interviewed actually by her sister on the set of her music video for that song, and she said that while they were setting up to shoot, they were playing music. Now, when she arrived on set, she was annoyed that the music they were playing wasn't hers. Now, remember, she is the one recounting this story. Then she goes on to say that she started to vibe with the music. It was dance and catchy, but she said she did so begrudgingly. Then when the chorus came on, she was actually like, "Oh, this is my song. That's why I like it." The music was actually a dance remix of Waiting for Tonight that she just didn't hear yet. So that's why she didn't know, of course, or recognize it at first. But a lot of people saw that interview and thought, wow, what a narcissist. Like, how odd she was for saying what she said. Like, no self-awareness at all. She was laughing at her story like she was the most charming person in the world, not the humble, Jenny from the block that she tries to portray. This isn't the first time something like that has happened though, and it's been reported many times that her own music must be playing at all times in her trailers and hotel rooms. Now, I totally understand you enjoying your own music. Actually, I can't really relate to that as I don't make music myself, but it's weird to me how insistent she is of this rule. And it's alleged that it's absolutely mandatory, and she will go into a spiral if this demand isn't met. I think J-Lo repeatedly fails to read a perfectly legible room. The argument could be made that if she had any common sense, then she would have laid low for this whole entire past year. About 10 days before Thanksgiving 2023, the headlines were dominated by Cassie and Diddy drama and, the $30 million lawsuit. Now, there were several horrific interviews given by several former members of Diddy's entourage detailing horrible stories, and many claim J-Lo may have benefited from those horrible stories. Now, considering the plethora of other accusations still continuing to unfold many months later, J-Lo should have known or been advised to lay low or do some good to the world, give back to, the block she's always bragging about. But instead, she comes out with the most insufferable album / movie / documentary, whatever it was. The fact she had $20 million to lose for the trilogy of failures that she released, and at the same time was aware that her Catholic primary school and Catholic high school in the Bronx begged her for meager donations to remain in operation, and she gave them nothing, knowing the negative impact their dissolution would have on the block she sings about. One might say she deserves the slow burn of an extended downfall. Now, many critics have said that she lacks authenticity. One social media user said, aside from the fact that she has no actual singing talent and has been relying on the uncredited voices of other women like Ashanti and Christina Milian to carry her songs, she insists on pushing the narrative that she's a hood girl from the block, and it's become so obvious that everything about her is phony. No one from her old neighborhood claims her. She doesn't do anything for the community that supposedly made her who she is. In fact, everyone who's ever crossed paths with her as a service worker only has horrible things to say. Another person went on to say her latest projects reek of vanity and delusion. No one thinks Bennifer is the greatest love story never told. No one even asked for that. Even Ben seems embarrassed about it. And she tried to make this whole song and dance act about her life so deep and profound, but it's actually just completely unhinged nonsense that shows how out of touch of reality she really is. Now, a big secret J-Lo never wanted to get revealed but did is the story of how she shamelessly stolen songs and vocals from other artists. There has been allegations allegations and controversy surrounding Jennifer's music and vocals over the years. Some critics and fans have accused her of using ghostwriters, auto-tune, and stealing vocals. One notable example is the controversy surrounding her hit single, If You Had My Love, in 1999. Now, some people claim that the song's vocals were not entirely J-Lo's, but rather a combination of her voice and that of a demo singer. Ashanti has even gone on interviews and said that they kept her vocals and ad-libs on the record, and in particular, J-Lo's song, I'm Real, was actually made for Ashanti. She even sang it, but it was given to J-Lo. Even the song What's Love by Ashanti and Fat Joe was supposed to be given to J-Lo, but Fat Joe actually stood on business on that one and made sure Ashanti stayed on that track with him, so good for him. Another notable example is the song Play from 2001, if you remember it, which was alleged to have used vocals from a demo recorded by, again, a different singer. J-Lo's team denied these allegations, stating that she has recorded the song herself. One of the most well-known shadiest moments towards J-Lo is, of course, the Mariah Carey moment. The feud between the two has been a topic of discussion for years, and it is the most notable instance when Mariah Carey said in an interview when asked about J-Lo, I don't know her. That phrase has become so iconic, and Mariah also threw shade at the allegation that J-Lo doesn't sing her own songs. In an article, Mariah once said she only slept 3 hours a night, in response to J-Lo saying she sleeps 8. She then followed it by saying, if I had the luxury of not actually having to sing my own songs, I would sleep 8 hours too.
In an unexpected twist, Jennifer Lopez, one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, was left utterly devastated after someone she trusted, the very lawyer who has stood by Jay-Z's side for years, betrayed her in the worst possible way. And what's worse, this betrayal may have exposed her name in a high-profile legal case she never wanted to be associated with. For those of you who may not be up to speed, here's what you need to know. Earlier this month, a woman filed a civil lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of SA back in 2000 when she was just 13 years old. The lawsuit contains several shocking allegations, and it sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. In the lawsuit, there's a reference to an unnamed individual called Celebrity B, who was allegedly present during the assault. However, the lawyer who filed the case was careful not to name anyone by name, except Jay-Z. And they kept the identity of Celebrity B under wraps, leaving the public speculating about who this mysterious person might be. But in a turn that no one saw coming, Jay-Z's response to the lawsuit, where he calls the allegations part of a false extortion plot, was far less discreet. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Shapiro, may have made a huge slip-up. In his legal filing, Shapiro claimed that Diddy was with none other than Jennifer Lopez on the night of the alleged assault.
You know, she's one of the most beautiful people in the world, and I'm a pretty nice guy myself.
Yes, you heard that right. Jay-Z's lawyer, in trying to dismiss the case, may have just exposed J-Lo's name, something that could have serious consequences for her reputation, her career, and her privacy. Until now, Jennifer Lopez's team has remained silent. They didn't need to comment because, until that moment, her name wasn't even associated with the case. No one connected J-Lo to this lawsuit. But now, things are very different. Thanks to Alex Shapiro's legal filing, J-Lo's name has been dragged into this scandal, and it's a situation no one expected. Jennifer Lopez and Sean Diddy Combs dated from 1999 to 2001.
People didn't really take it as a serious relationship, but we really loved each other.
Their relationship was one of the most talked about celebrity romances of the time, drawing significant media attention. And now, with these new allegations, JLO might be more involved than we originally thought. It is even speculated that Ben Affleck chose to divorce JLO because of these allegations, and he didn't want to be involved with this case at all. It's a case that's already shaking up the world of entertainment and legal circles. The lawsuit also mentions another individual, referred to as Celebrity A, who was allegedly a witness to the assault. Her name is now linked to one of the most serious and high-profile lawsuits in Hollywood right now. The public will no doubt want answers. So, was this an accident? Or is Jay-Z's lawyer trying to manipulate the situation to protect his client at the expense of J-Lo? Did he expose Jennifer Lopez's name on purpose, or was it an unintended consequence of defending Jay-Z? One thing is for certain, this case is far from over. And Jennifer Lopez may now have a much bigger fight on her hands than anyone expected. From the Jay-Z betrayal to something a little bit more sinister. Jennifer Lopez has been trying to protect her reputation and image for years. But what if everything we know about her is a lie? We will reveal the sinister secrets J.Lo has kept hidden from the world, secrets that could destroy her carefully crafted persona. From her hidden past to the shocking truth behind her rise to fame, this is the one revelation you won't want to miss. Let's talk about her infamous relationship with Diddy. We now know that she might have been more involved with these most recent SA party allegations, but there is another dark story from her past with Diddy. Jennifer Lopez and Diddy's relationship in the late 1990s was a full-blown media frenzy. They were the ultimate power couple at the time, constantly photographed together, and their every move was headline news. But their romance came to an abrupt and dramatic end after a terrifying incident in December 1999. Both J.Lo and Diddy were involved in a shooting outside a Manhattan nightclub, where they had been celebrating with friends. The shooting, which also involved Diddy's then-associate, resulted in a high-speed chase and a serious legal situation. While both J.Lo and Diddy were never charged with any crimes, the public scrutiny that followed was intense. There was a lot of speculation about what exactly happened that night and how involved they actually were. Despite not being directly implicated in the crime, J.Lo's association with Diddy and the fact that she was at the scene led to an explosion of media attention, much of it negative. It wasn't just a random club incident, it became a scandal that threatened to taint both their reputations. Okay, now, let's talk about her alleged role in breaking up marriages. J.Lo has been accused of being a home wrecker in some of her relationships. Perhaps the most notable instance of this was her relationship with Ben Affleck. It has been speculated that Jennifer was partially responsible for the breakup of Ben's marriage to Jennifer Garner as their relationship blossomed while Affleck was still married. While these claims are mostly speculative and based on tabloid gossip, they might have a lot of truth to them, from homewrecker to diva. Apparently, J.Lo has a lot of strict demands that she requires from her staff. She has a no mirrors, no lights rule on set. One of the most unusual demands she's made in the past was that she would not perform any scenes unless there were no mirrors or lights in the room. This was reportedly because she didn't want to be distracted by her own image during a scene. It was also rumored that she'd go so far as to ensure that there were no reflective surfaces like windows or shiny objects that could cause any interruptions to her performance or focus. Some even say that on one occasion, she refused to do a scene because the lighting wasn't up to her standards, even though the director had approved it. There are numerous stories about Jennifer Lopez's strict rules regarding eye contact. It's been reported that when J.Lo arrives on set, she expects people to avoid looking directly at her unless she's the one engaging with them. This level of control may come off as strange or even pretentious, but for J.Lo, it's all about maintaining her queen image. Now let's talk about how she is a master manipulator. J.Lo has managed to use the media to craft and perfect her public persona in ways that some would call manipulative. When Jennifer's relationships are in the headlines, her music or movie promotions tend to follow shortly after. This is seen as a way to distract from or amplify personal narratives, depending on what's happening in her private life at the time. In fact, there have been several instances when the public became distracted by dramatic personal events, such as her engagement and subsequent breakup with Ben Affleck in 2004, and suddenly, J.Lo would have a new album coming out, or a brand new project she was involved with. The media, naturally, would shift its focus toward her professional life. This kind of timing can be seen as a deliberate tactic, almost as if J.Lo's team uses personal drama to create a springboard for her next project, ensuring she stays in the spotlight, but for the right reasons. So, from Jennifer Lopez's emotional breakdown over Jay-Z's shocking betrayal to the dark secrets that have finally come to light, this story is full of twists and turns. It's clear that J.Lo's life is more complicated than we ever imagined, and with each new revelation we're left wondering, what else is she hiding?
J.Lo has made many enemies in her world, with many being those who work for her. They've leaked some awful details about her and shown just how horrible she is. Now, Gilly Liar had been a longtime assistant to J.Lo before she quit and went to work for Mariah Carey in 2013. It's been said that the main reason why she quit was because of J.Lo's boyfriend at the time, Casper Smart. Apparently, Casper was allowed to do whatever he wanted in the house, and this included him mistreating treating the staff members. That upset Gilly, a source told Radar Online. Casper always insisted that Jennifer's staff call him Mr. Smart, and even demanded that Gilly get him drinks. So it appears that JLo let her assistant get disrespected, which is just not okay at all, and it shows what kind of person she really is. Then there's the time when she got everyone to turn on her longtime makeup artist Scott Barnes. There had been a leak on JLo's team as they exposed to the press that JLo was planning on getting married to Mark Anthony. Now JLo claimed that Scott was one of the employees who betrayed her, so she fired him and made everyone ignore him. The thing was, they never asked him about it though, they just fired him. Now during an interview on the Jeff Probst show, he claimed that he didn't know anything about the wedding and wasn't the leak, but JLo's team still shunned him. Scott said, "Nobody would talk to me, it was like I had the plague." Then when the truth came out that Scott did not leak the news or even know about the wedding ahead of time, he received a phone call from Jen, who Scott claimed said the following. It was like, "Hey, it was a big misunderstanding, you know we have a lot of stuff coming up and I really miss you, so let's just get back to work." Although Scott was very gracious about the whole thing, it appears that JLo did not apologize to him, and it's just crazy to me that he went back working for her and that no one put a stop to her behavior. Now, near the end of last year, Elon Musk was speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience when he began talking about JLo's criticism of the recently elected president and his remarks about Puerto Ricans. Elon then brought up JLo's personal history with Diddy as she dated him from 1999 to 2001. He said JLo was like his ex-girlfriend and now all of a sudden she's warning people about this person, but how many people did she warn about Diddy? Oh, 0. Maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion. He added people in the music industry had to know that Diddy was doing these things. Where's that accountability? They had to know. Now, Ojani Noah, JLo's ex-husband, claimed that she was involved in Diddy's freak-offs that came up in his federal indictment. "I'm not on the list," Ojani wrote on Instagram. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of Diddy's freak-off parties, no and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka JLo, did. Ask her. But in a shocking turn of events, one of her past assistants has come to her defense. Thea D'Souza, who worked with JLo on the 2002 film Made in Manhattan, posted a statement on Threads that said, "If you knew Jennifer Lopez, if you ever worked with her like I did, or if you were close with people who are like family to her like I am, you would know she did not have any idea about Diddy. She barely drinks, she's not a partier, she isn't a good time girl, she's a workaholic who uplifts women, and who was charmed by him for a brief time in her life." Now, Thea emphasized that JLo does not deserve to be conflated with Diddy's shocking and criminal misdeeds. So Thea claims that JLo is innocent in all of this, but she's the only one who's spoken out. You see, JLo is refusing to speak about her ex Diddy. She walked out of an autograph signing at AFI Fest 2024 when someone in the crowd asked her if she had any comments about Diddy and the allegations. The US Mirror tabloid reported that the singer left immediately, despite fans' pleas that she stay. And don't expect her to say anything. In May, after video footage of Diddy hurting his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura was brought to light, JLo stayed silent. Now, many of Diddy's other exes have spoken out against him, but not JLo. Though tabloid sources claim that the Cassie footage disgusted her, JLo was silent on the subject and has stayed that way. Sources are saying that Jen is not going to address the accusations or take time to talk about them because it's not her story to tell. If an interviewer brought it up, she would cross that path as and when it happens, but she won't address it publicly and will not put herself in that conversation on purpose. Then there was the fact when JLo and Mark Anthony's twins needed nannies, JLo gave them a grueling schedule. Now, normally people who make a lot of money, like JLo for example, have numerous people who help them with everyday tasks, especially childcare, as it can be so difficult. But Jennifer expected one nanny not only to take care of both twins, but to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week, as an insider told the National Enquirer. Now, unsurprisingly, the first nanny she hired left after just a week of working for her. They hired a second nanny who was wonderful with the twins, but she couldn't take working such long hours without a break, a source said. So then she quit after just a week as well. And yeah, I don't blame them for quitting. I mean, that schedule is just unreasonable. Then in 2022, a girl named Kyla posted a TikTok saying that her dad worked for a company that JLo would hire for drivers. But apparently he heard so many bad stories about the star that he never wanted to be her driver. It said that JLo does not allow her drivers to look or talk to her. She's also so strict that if the driver looks through the rearview mirror and makes eye contact with her, she will freak out. Not to mention that she has a crazy rule that her luggage cannot touch the ground. Now it appears that this story is real though, because one of JLo's former drivers sued her. Hakab Menokian claims he started driving for JLo and Mark Anthony in 2005. He said that the three of them had such a great bond that they convinced him to shut down his company and work exclusively as JLo's personal head of security and transportation. He claimed that JLo agreed to pay him more than $200,000 per year, but things went downhill in 2011. This is when Hakab claims he was forced to spend time with JLo's manager, Benny Medina. He claims that Benny hated him and even found a way to convince JLo to demote him, taking away his security responsibilities and making him JLo's LA driver, and that was it. Now he says that he was basically forced to resign and then sued JLo and Benny for unspecified damages. JLo then countersued him for extortion, but her suit was dismissed in December 2012. Now the two eventually settled on undisclosed terms, but that honestly just sounds like a horrible situation. And finally, one of JLo's backup singers, Julia Wang, posted on TikTok how horrible it was to work with the star. She said she was so mean to her backup singers. If you were pretty or if you were Latina, like, game over, she hated you. Julia also said that JLo refused to talk or even look at any of the singers during their rehearsals, except for an occasional eye roll or scoff, which is just crazy. She acted like a bully. Can you imagine spending time with someone working in a closed setting every single day for months, and this person never even acknowledging you or acting like you exist? She asked. And honestly, no, I can't. That sounds like a horrible work environment. Now she also shared that JLo changes the way she acts when there are men present, and Julia added that she only treats the women poorly because she views them as competition. It seems like if you have anything to do with JLo, it would just be horrible. Now JLo is a performer, not really a singer. I mean, JLo claims she performs and sings live, but that isn't always the case. In November of 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip-syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this commercial sounds exactly like her live vocals just did." A commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of I Love Ya Papi on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. But should we really even be shocked? I mean, JLo doesn't even sing her own songs in the studio versions. Now for example, her song Play is sung by AM to PM singer Christina Milian. Christina wrote the song and she sings Play's entire chorus. Ashanti has also lent her voice to JLo, playing it off as her own. In fact, you can hear her singing on Ain't It Fun and I'm Real. Ashanti spoke about this in 2014 and said, "I wrote Ain't It Funny. I demoed the record for her before I was signed and they kept my hook and some of the background and ad-libs and stuff like that. It was bittersweet because I was really excited that it was JLo, but I was so mad at not being able to have the record for herself," she said. Shauna Harrell is also alleged to be responsible for some of the vocals in If You Had My Love, and Makeba Riddick apparently is the voice behind All I Have. Now the chorus from her song Jenny from the Block was rumored to have been sung by Natasha Ramos, who demoed the song. Now in fact, Natasha addressed the claims in 2019, tweeting, "JLo did indeed go in the studio and lay down some background vocals over mine. So I wouldn't say she's so much lip syncing, however the backgrounds are predominantly me and some ad-libs and laughs are as well." When fans found this out, they called out JLo for lying and branded the music industry trash and insisting that Jennifer should not be famous for work she never did. But Natasha then stood up for the star. She wrote, "Well, that's a little harsh. JLo is one of the hardest working women in business. In my opinion, she certainly deserves all her success. I just deserved more from that project too. That's on the label though, not Jennifer. It's all kind of history at this point, lol." But JLo has also been accused of straight up stealing songs from other artists. Now, one of the stars who accused her of doing this was Usher in 2015. He claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that JLo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect JLo to just take it." Now, besides all of that, it's been revealed that JLo is a cheater. Now, Jennifer and Ben Affleck had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s, with fans even nicknaming the couple Benifer. Now, they just got divorced this year. It was a huge thing, but the timeline of their relationship in general is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating. So in July of 2002, Jennifer filed for divorce from her second husband, Chris Judd, citing irreconcilable differences. But this news broke just months after JLo wrapped the movie Gilgy alongside her then boyfriend Ben. Now, even though she repeatedly denied cheating rumors, Ben took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter gushing about JLo before her divorce wasn't yet finalized. In fact, even Chris Judd's father Larry spoke out against the couple and accused JLo of being unfaithful to his son. He insinuated that the affair started during the filming of Gilgy, saying, "I thought Mr. Affleck would honor a married woman and not just go right into the trailer." He added that she'd be happier if she just tell the truth, and no one in her little circle is going to say one negative thing about her. Now, this is quite ironic because just years before, JLo accused Diddy of cheating on her and how heartbroken it left her. Now, I have to bring up JLo's infamous movie line interview in 1998. Now, this very well could have ruined JLo's career, as at the time she was 27 and fresh off the success of her film Selena. Now, she basically decided to trash all other celebrities that were big at the time and tried to trivialize their career and their contributions to the industry. In fact, when asked about Madonna, JLo actually said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Now, this was so ironic because JLo would go on to do both music and acting for the rest of her career, and critics also trashed her acting on the big screen. Also, at the time, Madonna had been a star for a lot longer than JLo, so there was really no comparison there. And when Gwyneth Paltrow was brought up, Jennifer almost seemed to laugh and made it clear that she didn't take her fellow actress's career seriously. "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work," she said. Now, yikes, this did not go over well, and hey, I can't blame the celebrities she dissed for being upset. Now, this year, Jennifer recently released her documentary on Amazon Prime called This Is Me Now, A Love Story, which gave behind-the-scenes looks into her new album, This Is Me Now, and the accompanying movie, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Now, some fans who watched it, though, took to social media to call Jen out for her lies. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. "I feel like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams," she said. However, a TikTok user, Photos by Angela, slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school as Jennifer and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." In fact, the Bronx is a place that J-Lo actually avoids. Now, how do we know this? Well, due to a commercial she filmed. The commercial is from 2011, and the caption to it on YouTube says, "This commercial is titled My World and is voiced over by Lopez, who is seen driving a Fiat 500 Cabrio as she travels through the streets of Manhattan to the Bronx where she grew up." The new ad explores her personal take on how life in the New York City borough continues to inspire her to be tougher, to stay sharper, and think faster. But this ad backfired when it was reported that she never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad, and that a body double stand-in was used instead. And I mean, if you watch the ad knowing this information, it's pretty obvious. I mean, why not just ditch J-Lo and use a different celebrity who would actually show up on set? Now, it's just crazy that they let her get away with this.
Let's get into J-Lo's most high-profile breakup. You already know who I'm about to mention, yes, Ben Affleck. What's crazy about this one is that she had two high-profile breakups with him, once in 2004 and then 20 years later in 2024. Now, Lopez and Affleck, or better known collectively as Bennifer by the press, met while filming Geely. We'll get into that one in a bit. And they got engaged in 2002. Their wedding was postponed multiple times due to media attention, and once in 2003, just one day before the ceremony, they made a joint statement that said, "Due to the excessive media attention surrounding our wedding, we have decided to postpone the date." When we found ourselves seriously contemplating hiring 3 separate decoy brides at 3 different locations, we realized that something was awry. We began to feel that the spirit of what should have been the happiest day of our lives would be compromised. We felt that what should have been a joyful and sacred day would be spoiled for us, our families, and our friends. So after that statement, they briefly split up, but then they actually rekindled the relationship, but then eventually called it off just 3 days before the wedding in January of 2004. Jennifer also told People magazine, and I quote, "We didn't try to have a public relationship, we just happened to be together at the birth of the tabloids. It was just a lot of pressure." Ben shared the same sentiments, and although it's reported that it was the pressure that was the main cause of their split, they also had conflicting schedules that made it really difficult to maintain a healthy work-life balance, and it is said that the couple had different views on what to share publicly, which led to a lot of conflict and tension. Now, at the time, Lopez described the breakup as the biggest heartbreak of her life, and saying that it felt like her whole bleeping world exploded. It even made her question if she belonged in the entertainment business. She said it took her 2 years to get over Ben, meaning when she was married to Mark Anthony, she still had strong feelings for Ben. So that kind of sounds like a rebound to me, right? Now, the couple's relationship captivated audiences and reminded people that even glamorous relationships can and will face challenges. Jen and Ben literally went on to live 2 totally separate lives, but they did always remain on friendly terms and supportive of one another. Ben would go on to marry Jennifer Garner, with whom he has 3 children with, and J-Lo rebounded onto Mark Anthony, with whom she had twins Max and Em with. Ben continued his acting career, starring in films like Hollywoodland, The Town, Argo, and more, and Jennifer released several albums, including Rebirth in 2005, Brave in 2007, and Love in 2011. She even judged on American Idol from 2011 to 2016. Now, let's not forget her acting career though, because listen, I do really love me a good J-Lo rom-com, and she kept busy starring in movies like Made in Manhattan, Shall We Dance, Monster-in-Law, and in the more recent years, Second Act, Hustlers, and Shotgun Wedding. It's safe to say they both evolved as individuals and continued to grow while they were apart. Now, fast forward to April 2021, Lopez and Affleck rekindled their romance and were spotted together after they both separated from their other partners. In May, they both went on a trip to Montana together, and in July 2022, the couple secretly married in Las Vegas at the Little White Chapel. Sadly, for all Bennifer fans, this was short-lived as their marriage came to an end in August of 2024, when Lopez filed for divorce without a lawyer, citing irreconcilable differences. Now, a bit of deja vu here, because although I'm sure there were several factors that contributed to the breakdown of the relationship, but according to sources close to Lopez, Ben's discomfort with the paparazzi attention was a significant issue. Boy, I'm gonna need you to get yourself all the way together. She was J-Lo in 2004. She's still J-Lo in 2024 too. What's insane insanity again, doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? Anyway, additionally, Affleck was apparently uncomfortable with Lopez's decision to share private love letters with her music team. I actually don't think many fans were shocked though, because the months leading up to the split, there were so many signs of trouble. The couple was rarely seen together, and when they were, Ben looked so miserable, like just down astronomically bad. And there's even one video that looks to be Ben slamming the car door in Jennifer's face while out running errands. Just not a good look. And to every person watching that video, it signaled the beginning of the end. Now, this second split from Ben, of course, was devastating to Bennifer fans worldwide and shocked many. Actually, no, it didn't really shock too many, to be honest, but it was sad, like, nonetheless. Okay, before I send you guys off with JLo's most infamous interview that almost ruined her career, I first want to talk about JLo's worst film. Not Jersey Girl, which was bad, not Atlas, also bad, and not U-Turn, which I bet you haven't even heard of that one, so you're welcome. No, let's talk about Geely. And to be fair, it's so bad, it's still not good. She actually should have won a Razzie for it, honestly. But to give you the quickest synopsis possible, Geely, played by Ben Affleck, is ordered to kidnap the psychologically challenged younger brother of a powerful federal prosecutor. Now, when plans go wrong, Geely's boss sends in Ricky, played by Jennifer Lopez, a gorgeous, like, free-spirited female gangster who has her own set of orders to assist with the kidnapping. But Geely begins falling for the decidedly unavailable Ricky, which could be a hazard to his occupation. Geely is widely regarded as one of the worst films of the 2000s. It has like a confusing storyline, underdeveloped characters, cringeworthy dialogue, and the acting is honestly horrible. And not just from Jen, but like from literally every person starring in the film. And there's a lot of big actors in the film. But it's not any interview for that film that almost blew up her career and status in Hollywood. No, it's actually a 1998 interview with Movie Line. In this interview, she criticized several actresses' acting skills, saying that most were not good actresses and implying that acting is a craft that requires dedication and hard work. She went for Madonna, and to quote, she said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yes. Do I think she's a great actress? No." She then went on to make even bigger mistakes by saying negative comments about other actresses, including Cameron Diaz, where she says, "A lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities I just wish she would have done more with. She's beautiful and has a great presence though." And then went in on Gwyneth Paltrow saying, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Yes, she said all of that about Gwyneth Paltrow, like who would go on a few months later to win an Oscar. Her comments about Madonna, however, sparked a feud between the two, with Madonna later responding that Lopez couldn't sing. The interview was widely reported and created a media frenzy, damaging JLo's reputation and relationships within the industry. Lopez did apologize for her statements and said they were taken out of context and misquoted, but the damage was done, and it even made Lopez consider quitting the industry altogether. I just think it's funny that JLo had so many opinions on who is or isn't a great actress, as if she is a great actress herself.
Now, if you didn't know, JLo and Diddy dated from 1999 to 2001. But now, Diddy's been arrested for crimes he committed during those years and after, but the fact that JLo was spotted at parties where the crimes took place is not a good look. Diddy was known for throwing his infamous white parties where everyone would show up dressed in white. Now, JLo was spotted at many of these events, but what's now come to light is that Diddy and others would commit horrible crimes here, including mistreating and taking advantage of unsuspecting victims. Now, the fact that JLo was there when these events took place is unsettling, and it has people questioning whether or not she was involved in these crimes, or at the very least, knew about them. Then recently, leaked photos of the star getting into a fight with Diddy at an MTV VMAs after party in the year 2000 were released. Now, this is important because an unnamed woman, only going by Jane Doe, filed a lawsuit against Diddy accusing him, Jay-Z, and an unnamed female celebrity of mistreating and taking advantage of her. Now, the fact that these photos are from the same night makes people think that JLo knew what was going on and got angry with him, but did nothing to prevent it or report it. Now, for the past couple of months, JLo has been distancing herself from Diddy and has refused to answer any questions regarding him. So, I think it's safe to say that she does not want any of these photos of the pair to get out. Now, at the 2012 Oscars, there was a lot of speculation about what was popping out of JLo's dress. Now, most people assumed it was her nipple, and someone online created a Twitter account called JLo's Nipple. Now, the first tweet was, "Did you see me?" While there was was much speculation about the photo and what was revealed. Jennifer's stylist Mariel Hain gave Entertainment Weekly a statement addressing the alleged slippage. The Oscar dress was custom made for Jennifer by designer Zaher Murad. The dress fit perfectly to her every inch. There were cups built in, and there's no chance that there was any, slips. While the dress did give the illusion of sheerness, jokes on everyone who wishes they saw something. If you thought that dress was hot, wait until you see what's next. Now, Jen never spoke out about this, but I think it's safe to say that she was embarrassed that people thought that they saw more than they really did. In the year 2016, Jennifer was performing for a live audience in Las Vegas when she suffered a wardrobe malfunction towards the end of her show. The singer was wearing a well-fitting shimmery bodysuit, and when she and her other dancers went to thank the crowd for coming out and take their final bows, JLo had a mishap with her bodysuit. As she went and linked arms with the backup dancers, unfortunately for her, when she bent down, the stitch around her hips burst open, showing a bit of skin underneath. Now thankfully it happened at the end of her show, but this isn't the first time something like this has happened. In July 2022, while Jennifer was performing, her bodysuit ripped again, forming a small visible hole on her backside during one of her songs, but she didn't miss a beat, continuing to sing and dance like the professional she is. While some might have been thrown off by such an occurrence or changed the choreography to try to cover it up, she just kept on going. Now she actually posted a video of it laughing at herself on her TikTok page. Jennifer combined the video with the viral sound "Oh No" by Creepa, and it definitely was an oh no moment indeed. But JLo's fans are diehards, and they rush to hype her up in the comments. "We love a funny queen who can take any situation," said one. "She's a true professional, the show must go on," another said. Hey, when you've been in the industry as long as Jennifer, you get used to experiencing the unexpected and keep pushing through. But it seems like this does happen often. I think she needs to get a better seamstress, because this just seems to be like a pattern for her, and I'm sure she's not super comfortable with it happening so often. In 2021, Jennifer attended the Dolce & Gabbana fashion show at St. Mark's Square in Venice. Now she looked great in her outfit, showing it off, but she also showed us something else: price tag. Now Jennifer may come armed by assistants, but it looks like whoever was in charge of the wardrobe department missed a detail. Jennifer wound up with the paparazzi catching the price tag still attached to her outfit. Now the label was only visible when the cape was blown up from the wind, which made it pretty noticeable in the photos of her outside. Now the singer's bodyguard held her hand while she walked alongside her glam team, who didn't seem to notice the tag hanging from her, which is just crazy because she has such a big team. Now Jennifer didn't seem to notice it either though, and it begs the question, were they planning on returning it? I mean, a similar incident happened to Meghan Markle years back, and I just want to know why people on their team aren't being more attentive to detail. Then there was a time she had an incident on live TV that I don't think she'll be able to live down. Wetten Das was being filmed in Spain when Jennifer suffered the embarrassment in front of a stadium audience, as well as other celebrities present on the show. Not to mention, the show was live. Now she first performed without having any incidents, wearing a black mini dress and stilettos, but her second appearance on the show was a sit-down interview outside in a bullfighting arena. Now she looked amazing in a long belted dress with a plunging neckline and a matching head wrap, and in true JLo style, she had a grand entrance in a horse-drawn carriage before taking her seat. But maybe this was a mistake. Why? Well, as JLo was being helped to her seat by the show's host, the front of her dress opened a little bit too much and her entire breast fell out of her dress. Now a crowd of thousands were there to witness the infamous wardrobe malfunction. Within the hour, the picture was on the cover of the world's #1 worldwide tabloid and on the internet. It was super embarrassing and not something she wants to remember. And finally, there was the incident when she was on the Ellen DeGeneres show. In 2018, she made an appearance with her World of Dance co-stars Jenna Dewan, Neo, and Derek Huff. When getting off the couch to pull off a fast dance step though, mimicking her co-star Derek, she accidentally flashed her spandex as the front slit of her blue dress opened wide. She realized what had happened, yelled, "Oh no, my spandex," and looked a bit embarrassed. She then pulled her dress down and continued on dancing though. Now after Derek demonstrated his move, JLo added, "If I didn't have my spandex showing, I could have done done it a little bit better. Then in 2019 though, she had another spandex incident. Jennifer was all smiles as she stepped out with her then fiance Alex Rodriguez, seemingly unaware that her spandex were able to be seen underneath her dress, which featured a thigh-high slit. Now the couple were out to attend the graduation of her two twins, Max and Emmy, but the shapewear was clearly evident underneath her revealing dress. JLo was so proud of her two kids on their graduation day though that she couldn't help but take to Instagram with a celebratory post. Graduation day, she wrote on her IG stories alongside a post of both her children and Alex's daughter Ella, "We are so proud of you, beautiful souls." Now it seems like she either didn't know about the malfunction or she simply just didn't care. A series of unseen pictures from the night of the 2000 VMAs ceremony show Diddy and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez in a heated exchange. Now the pair dated from 1999 to 2001 and the pictures were released by dailymail.com. They show Diddy and JLo in a fight at an after party for the 2000 MTV VMAs at the defunct Lotus nightclub in New York City. Now the photos were taken on September 7th, a day that Diddy has been accused of committing a horrible crime. But what really happened? Diddy held a Cristal champagne bottle the entire time serving his guests, a source has now spoken out, contextualizing the pictures. JLo is seen furiously shouting at her then partner in the newly released images. She's believed to have walked out on him eventually. Everyone was dancing and enjoying themselves, but as the night progressed, tensions rose between him and JLo. The source, who was seemingly present at the scene and witnessed the former couple butting heads, confessed. Now the party guests also complained that in the aftermath of this spat with his then girlfriend, Diddy left the place early on, accompanied by a group of girls and his entourage. Now earlier that night in an all-white outfit, JLo was pictured alongside Diddy at the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall. It was an especially special night for her as she had won the Best Dance Video, and in her acceptance speech she even thanked Diddy. But it seems like Diddy may have messed all of this up, and maybe the fight was about that. You see, a lawsuit had been filed in October against Diddy for mistreating and taking advantage of a woman. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the incident happened after she was driven to an MTV VMA after party in the year 2000. Now it seems like this could have happened after Diddy left the nightclub. The lawsuit says that a friend dropped Jane off at the VMAs at the Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket and she approached various limousine drivers to try to gain access to the show or simply to an after party. Now one driver, the lawsuit says, told her that he worked for Diddy and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Diddy and Jay-Z. Now later in the night, the driver picked her up and after 20 minutes they arrived at a white house with a U-shaped driveway, the suit says. Now Jane Doe then had to sign a document she believed was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival to enter the party, which the suit says was filled with celebrities. While there, she says she was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, so she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterwards, the suit says that Diddy and Jay-Z entered the room with Diddy saying, "You are ready to party." That's when she alleges she was taken advantage of by both men, while an unnamed female celebrity watched. Now after the alleged incident, the suit says, Jane Doe grabbed her clothes and left. Now what we knew at the time was at the after party, the victim was mistreated by Diddy, while another male celebrity and female celebrity, neither of whom were named in the lawsuit at the time, watched until she was able to escape. Now this case was refiled on Sunday, December 8th, and it included Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, in it. Now it turns out that he was the male celebrity described in the suit. But who was the female celebrity? Some people think it could be JLo. I mean, she did attend pretty much all of Diddy's parties, and there's no way she didn't know about all the sketchy stuff going on. Now one of JLo's ex-husbands, Ojani Noah, recently took to social media to distance himself from any connection to Diddy's freak-off parties, but he claimed that JLo was one of multiple celebrities present at them. While we do know that JLo has been to Diddy parties, as there's actual photographic evidence, there has been nothing official put out about her involvement in freak-offs. In a post on Instagram, Noah shared a list of stars who allegedly attended Diddy's parties, one being JLo. "I'm not on the list," he captioned the post. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of Diddy's freak-off parties, no and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, did ask her. But now it seems like J-Lo is refusing to speak about her ex Diddy. She walked out of an autographing signing at AFI Fest 2024 when someone in the crowd asked her if she had any comments about Diddy and the allegations, according to the US Mirror. Now, the tabloid reported that the singer left immediately despite fans' pleas that she stay. And don't expect her to say anything. In May, after video footage of Diddy hurting his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura was brought to light, J-Lo stayed silent. Many of Diddy's other exes have spoken out against him, but not J-Lo. Though tabloid sources claim that the Cassie footage disgusted her, J-Lo was silent on the subject and has stayed that way. Sources have been saying that Jen is not going to address the accusations or take time to talk about them because it's not her story to tell. If an interviewer brought it up, she would cross that path when it happens, but she won't address it publicly and will not put herself in that conversation on purpose. But J-Lo has spoken out in the past before about her relationship with Diddy, and some people believe that she might be a victim of his. Throughout their relationship and then after their breakup, J-Lo was aware of rumors that Diddy was cheating on her. Now, Diddy has admitted to cheating on multiple girlfriends in the past, so she was most likely right. "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful," she told Vibe magazine after the breakup. "I was in a relationship with Puff where I was totally crying, crazy, and going nuts. It really took my whole life in a tailspin." Now, she then grew increasingly concerned about his fidelity. "I never caught him, but I just knew," she said of the cheating. He'd say he was going to the club for a couple of hours and never come back that night. Now, Diddy himself admitted that he was often unfaithful in relationships. But with Diddy's recent arrest, people have been questioning how he treated J-Lo. An anonymous source said he was very controlling, he would constantly put her in uncomfortable situations. "This is a good girl from the Bronx who never got into trouble or was wild." Now, the source also said he never hurt J-Lo, but she had her longtime manager, Benny Medina, to protect her. Benny would have ended Puffy's life if he laid a hand on J-Lo. But still, Puffy was controlling and demanding. But there's been a conflicting report though, as another source who knew the couple at the time said he definitely manhandled her, but it's a little low to bring that up all now. It's kicking a man when he's down. Then there's also the fact that J-Lo's mom didn't like Diddy. When J-Lo was asked about Diddy in 2022 when she was on the Wendy Williams show, Wendy asked if she and Diddy would ever get back together. Now, J-Lo laughed and shook her head as the cameras panned to her mom sitting in the audience. Now, J-Lo's mother looked furious as she shouted no while waving her hand back and forth. Now, that reaction spoke volumes, and it seemed like she knew something the rest of us didn't. Now, it's important to note that J-Lo has not been connected legally to any of Diddy's crimes. The only celebrity who's been named with him is Jay-Z, who is obviously denying all the claims. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens in this case. J-Lo exposed their relationship even more, as in the documentary Jen said, "This book is a book Ben gave me on our first Christmas back together. It's every letter and every mail that we wrote each other from 20 years ago to today." Now, she highlighted one note that read, "The Greatest Love Story Never Told" by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, 2001 to 2010 and counting. The couple got engaged at the end of 2002, but broke it off a year before calling it quits on their relationship for good in 2004. In the documentary, J-Lo also recognized Ben's unease about being in the public eye as a couple, especially given the intense media scrutiny they faced the first time around. "I don't think Ben is very comfortable with me doing all this," she said, "but he loves me, he knows I'm an artist, and he's gonna support me every way he can, because he knows you can't stop me from making the music, but that doesn't mean he's comfortable being the muse." Now, in the doc, Ben even made it known that he was uncomfortable. He said, "I did really find the beauty in poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. If you're making a record about it, that kinda seems like telling it." Now, Ben has also been open about his addiction to alcohol, as he first checked into a rehab facility in 2001, completing a 30-day residential rehabilitation program for alcohol abuse. He sought treatment for alcoholism on several occasions in the years since, getting professional help in 2008, 2017, and again in 2018 after his divorce from Jennifer Garner was finalized. Now, he briefly relapsed in 2019, but said he wouldn't let it derail him, admitting, "It happens, it's a slip." Now, that same year, the actor acknowledged that being an alcoholic is something that he deals with on a daily basis, saying it doesn't have to subsume my whole identity and be everything, but it's something that you have to work at. Now, since Ben's addiction has played out so publicly, it's become unfortunately common for fans to speculate about his health, particularly after he married J.Lo. For example, a video clip of Jennifer and Ben having a seemingly tense conversation at the premiere of her movie Shotgun Wedding went viral in January after fans suspected the pair were arguing over Ben's drinking. Now, the latter half of their relationship just brought up a lot of questions, since they were not spotted together and seemed to be avoiding each other as Ben moved out of their house. Then there was the rumors of divorce, and now it's official, but with rumors of Ben cheating, it's gotten even messier.